So, this thing works great, but cranking this to move the table up and down, it's a pain in the ass. It takes forever. So, got this aluminum rod, 1.5 inches if I remember right, 1.5 inch diameter. It is, sorry, I'm holding the camera here. It is extremely close to the right diameter. It's just a hair under, more than close enough. I thought about just taking a big old 2-inch chunk of this or more and making an exact, more or less an exact copy of the power drill adapter you can get for your knee crank. But, I got a lot of junk laying around the place. I got these old sockets, and I had an idea. 3/4 inch socket, 6-point, of course. Make an adapter out of this. So, I can easily chuck it into a power drill. It'll slide right on here. It happens to have the right inside diameter to be a slip fit on the post. It's long enough. But anyways, bore out a section out of aluminum, mill it for the teeth, put it on here with a tight fit, hopefully. Maybe some set screws or something to hold it in there good. And then not only is it an adapter for here that I can leave on a power drill, but then I can run it right up to here because it's a 3/4 inch socket and quickly open and close my vise. Because there's been times I needed to open it real wide for something, and then I got to close it back. And this thing, it works good, but it's Indian made or something, and it could be a little smoother operating. But it takes a good while to crank on it too. And then this handle, it works good on it, but it's not a great handle for quickly moving distance. So I can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. And on top of that, I can put it on my nut here and quickly move the table front and back as well if I needed to. I don't need to left to right. I have a power feed on the x-axis. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. It'll use up something that I've got nice socket sets. I don't need this thing. It's just been laying around. I think it'll work out perfect. All right, so I got the finally figured out a way to attach the 3/4 socket to the mill. I was trying a few different ways, and I think this is the best I've got. Basically treating it kind of like a lathe operation here, which I've never done before. I've got the 3/4 socket. I found a 5/8 rod that fits inside the socket. Not super tight, but as best as can be expected. It's threaded on the end. There's a little socket head cap bolt pulling the socket to the inside of the rod. There's also a set screw collar above it as well, just as a little extra support. The whole thing seems solid, and it seems to have minimal run out. I didn't test it. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not sure how I could really eliminate all the run out. And then I've got a boring bar set up in my Kalamazoo, I don't know what you call it. It's not a dividing head. Indexable 5C collet chuck, I guess. Anyways, I got a boring bar, 3/4 boring bar set up in that. I have no idea if this is the right geometry or what. I assume that's a carbide piece that's brazed on the end. But I don't know. It's just stuff I got with the mill. It didn't look chipped or anything. It kind of looks like the relief will be right, but I don't know. I've never done any lathe type stuff. Anyways, I've got my quill depth stop set and my feed feed wheel engaged, so I can slowly run it down, and then it stops before it gets to the collar, approximately. No idea how fast to go in. I'm gonna try like maybe 5 thousandths at a time and see how that goes. Anyways, I just gotta turn down. I gotta turn down the end of that socket so that it slips inside of the little groove inside the row of teeth on the knee crank spindle. You'll see later. It's kind of hard to explain. It wasn't absolutely necessary, but I felt like it would help keep things a little tighter and centered up better. And I don't know. I wanted to do it. It was an excuse to try and set up a lathe operation too, I guess. So, anyways, I just remembered. I'm gonna set the RPM to 325. Looking at my cheat sheet, I'm guessing I should have a RPM of around 4, maybe 500. So I'm 660. I'm guessing might be too fast, so I decided to change the pulley over, and I'm going to run it at 325. Since that socket's right about 1 inch in diameter, just a hair over. And I don't know what kind of steel it is. I assume it's a little harder than regular stuff. So let's change the levers over here. All right. And we're in low gear. And you can see that little set screw that holds that collar on. Just a little extra support. It seems pretty solid to me. Certainly a lot better and a hell of a lot less run out than the setup I had before, where I just had a 5/8 bolt, or not even that. I think it was a 3/8 bolt bolted through the socket, and then the bolt itself was chucked up into the collet, and it wobbled real bad. I didn't expect that to work at all. This doesn't wobble at all. It does a tiny bit, I think, but I don't know. Let's talk. Let's yapping, and let's just see if this works. So we're in low gear, so we gotta run backwards. I'm gonna run in 5 thousandths and try rolling it up, see what happens. Okay, good so far. Well, it didn't blow up, so I had I had it zeroed out, but I got to thinking I forgot to look at my numbers to see how far I needed to go in, and then I realized that I'm only cutting. Let's see, I forget what it was. I think it's about 200 thousandths depth down here, and it seems to be working fine. But the untouched diameter of the socket was starting to eat into the bottom edge of the of the of the what do you call it? The blade, the tooth, tip. I don't know the terminology yet. So I'm gonna look through my other bits and see if I got something that's more angled, and see if I can't set up something that clears a little better. All right, so I these are all the bits I got. Those back there are 1/2 inch. These are 3/4 inch shank. The geometry on them is pretty much all identical, just bigger and smaller for bigger and smaller holes. So I picked this one just because it was fat and stubby. It's the same one I had before. I tried flipping it upside down and running the machine backwards. That way I could start at the top of the socket and have the cutting edge go down and not have material getting in the way of the body of the cutter. However, the changing the direction like that caused the socket head cap screw to keep unthreading, allowing the socket to slip. So that was a no-go. So I flipped it all back around and wasn't sure about anything, so I just kept monkeying with it, and I'm sure it's not pretty, but it worked. The body was rubbing on this bottom section here, leaving that lip. So it was doing a little bit of cutting on its own besides the carbide bit, but it works, and I don't really care how it looks. This is pretty good for a beginner, in my opinion. So anyways, the reason I was doing that was so it would fit into that little this little recess between the teeth and the shaft. It didn't have to, but I wanted it to be up short in there as possible, and I wanted it to kind of sit in there and just help support everything a little better, and now it does. So what's next is I going to take a chunk of that aluminum rod and cut it down and basically try to slip it over this, and probably I'm imagining using set screws or something to hold it in place. Maybe I can get the fit just right that I can press fit it on, but I'm guessing probably not. But we'll see. Learning experience anyway. I think I'm finally ready to cut this thing. Got it dialed in as best I can, which I think is actually really good if the readings are to be trusted. It's an old Starrett last word indicator that my dad's had banging around in his tool chest for a long time, and I don't think either of us have ever used it until I got this machine. So now it's getting used. I didn't even know how to use it for a long time because it was missing its little probe that goes on the end, and I had to look up and see how it was supposed to be used to even realize it was missing a part. So I'll rotate the rotary table around just to document the run out that it's got. It's got about a thousandth of run out according to the dial. Gets up to 4,000th there. Oh, I take that back. It has a couple thousandths run out. So you can see for yourself it swings between like 1,000th and 3.5 or 4,000. So it's around 3,000ths run out, depending on how you look at it. So I think that's good enough. This doesn't have to have a critical, precise fit, but trying my best anyway. I got the lash mostly tuned out of this rotary table. The action on it's a little tight now, but that's okay. I'm not really going to be cranking on it a bunch. I'm just going to run through 360 degrees, 40 degrees at a time to cut all the teeth, all sides of each tooth, and we'll see how it works out. Alright, enough goofing around. Let's do this. We're going to take a cut all the way across the piece at 0 degrees. And then we're going to rinse and repeat every 40 degrees. 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320. And then we should be done. Other than deburring and final fitting maybe. So I got the Bridgeport set as fast as it'll go. I've got a 5/32 high-speed steel 4-flute cutter in here. I couldn't find a 2-flute. I know 2 flutes recommended for aluminum. I'm using WD-40 for lube. Not that it's specifically needed, but X-axis is locked down at 0 to the table. Y doesn't matter because we're going to be swinging forward and backward to make the cuts. So let's try this. So far, so good. Now we move to 40. 20, 30, 35, and that should be 40. Now 80. That should be 50. 70. 80. All right. 120. 90, 100, 110, 120. We're doing this at a depth of 160 thousandths, by the way. The drawing calls for 150, but I measured my knee crank, and I determined 160 would be a better fit. So we just got done with 120, now we go to 160 degrees. One 130, 140, 150, 160. We are going over cuts again on this next half. That's because we got to clean up basically the other side of each tooth. So now we move to 200 degrees. That's 170, 180, 190, 200. Now we do 240. 210. 220. 230. 240. 240. Now we go to 280. It's 250. 260. 270. 280. All right, this next cut should be our final one at 320. $290, $300, $310. $320. And then we're going to go back to 0 now. 360 degrees or 0. $330, $340, $350, $360 or 0. And it should just slide through. Well, I wonder if I made a miscalculation, because those look too tiny. I don't know what I did wrong here. I thought I was supposed to just run through several times. But those teeth look too tiny and too numerous. So I wonder if maybe I was mistaken and took twice as many cuts as I should have. Or what? This is what I was looking at here. And, you know, this is just a crude drawing on the computer. But these thick black lines was my guesstimation of cut. Their thickness is not to scale or anything. But these white spaces in between are supposed to be the teeth, and according to the simulation I basically did, it should have been right. So I'm not sure. Oh wait, I think I know how I fucked up. My cuts were on center, so my 5/32 cutter was literally centered when it should have been offset by 5/32 on the x-axis. So cutting off center instead of cutting straight on. So that's what it was. I was basically cutting on the center line each time when I should have been cutting on the one edge of the center line, according to the picture on the right edge. So I should have offset the cutter to the right or the table to the left by 5/32. Yeah. That explains it. Well, I figured I'd screw it up somehow. It seemed easy. It seemed too easy. And I remember somebody mentioning that too, and I thought I paid enough attention to it, but I guess not. Well, I planned on. Let me get my socket. I had planned on the socket sitting in there basically flush with the end of the teeth. There's a little bit of a shelf in there. Well, basically, I'll have to take these teeth down, 160 thousandths or whatever it is. Yeah, 160 thousandths. And face it off again or whatever. And then recut the teeth, and then the socket will be sticking up too far, 160 thousandths too far. I don't want to cut it down any because I'm also going to use it for the 3/4 drives on both on the vise and on the y-axis, which doesn't have a power feed. So I don't want to cut it down there. So I guess I'll probably have to take off some of the shelf I have in the bottom. I have approximately a 1/4 inch shelf in the bottom of this piece. So let's see. Yeah. I'll take off the 160 thousandths of teeth, and then I'll plunge cut into the middle another 160 thousandths, and make sure it's not going to poke through and cut anything on underneath the part. But I'm pretty sure I have a 1/4 inch there, so that'll leave me with just under 1/10 of an inch of material, which it can be totally removed. I was going to use set screws and stuff. It's just going to look nice to have a back to hold this in, so to speak. So oh well, I gotta make sure. Gotta make sure to offset that cut next time. I'm going to mark it here right now. Stay tuned. Alright. Attempt number 2. I cut off the messed up teeth from the first try, where I forgot to offset the cutter to the right by the width of the cutter. I cut those off, refaced it, bored the center hole a little bit deeper to compensate for the extra socket that's going to stick out. Luckily, I had made the whole thing a little bit over length, so I had some to spare, and so it's all going to work out just fine. Let's see. I got my depth of cut set at 160. The schematics show 150 thousandths, but my crank, when I measured it, measures more like 160, so that's what I'm going with. Yeah, it keeps it. I now have my x-axis offset. This is a 5/32 cutter, which is supposed to equal 156 thousandths and 3/10, approximately. But mine measures 153 thousandths on my digital calipers and 152 thousandths on my micrometer. After a little bit of thinking, I decided to go with the 152. So anyways, x-axis is offset by 152 thousandths to the right. Might be able to see that there, I don't know. And is locked down. Of course, you can ignore the y-axis because I'm going to be running back and forth on that. Depth of cut set. So everything's locked down. We're starting out at 0 degrees. Speaking of that, I need to get my numbers here so I know what to cut here. And I think we're ready to try this again. All right. Hopefully we're good this time. We're in high gear. Yeah. High speed. Go as fast as the thing will go. Let's see. All right. Spray a little bit here. Contact. To go 40 degrees. 10, 20, 30, 40. Working good so far. Now we go to 80. 50. 60. 70. 80. Now we go to 120. 80. 90. 100. 110. 120. We go to 160. 130. 140. 150. 160. We go to 200. 170. 180. 190. 200. We go to 240. 210. 220. 230. 240. Go 280. There's 250. 260. 270. 280. Alright, this should be our last cut at 320. $290, $300, $310, $320. $320. That should have been our last cut. We'll go ahead and advance it back to 0 here. So we're at 320, so 330, 340, 350, and yep, 360, or otherwise known as 0. That'd be our first cut. And this should be able to just scoot right on through because we already did it. Yep. Being real gingerly here just in case something snags. Alright. Okay, so let's see. Pull the quill up out of the way, lock it back down, and run the table forward here, and to the right. Actually, I need to unlock the thing here. It's a power feed. Yeah, I've got a power feed on my x-axis, which is great for certain situations and for just getting the table moved a lot. I don't have one on my y-axis or the knee, but using this adapter I can raise the knee up and down real fast, and it's a combo adapter with the 3/4 hex. I'll be able to also use it on the y-axis for running it back and forth quickly if I need to, as well as opening and closing the vice jaw, moving it fast. Obviously you won't want to torque it down with the drill. You'll want to use a handle for that. So let's see how this looks. Moment of truth. Alright. It certainly looks a hell of a lot better than the first time. The teeth seem a lot more triangular to me than on this. So I'm trying to think if there's something I did wrong or if that's acceptable. Let's see if they made up. They are not wanting to mate up. It looks to me like the inside is about right, or really close to wanting to meet up, but the outside is too thin. So I wonder if maybe I needed to go a size bigger on the cutter, or maybe I didn't offset it enough. No, I wouldn't think that would be it. Maybe offset it too much. I don't know. I'm gonna play around with it, and I don't know if I'm gonna do another round of cuts on it with maybe like a little more offset or something. I'm kind of wondering if I can just take a straight file and go between a pair of teeth at a time and slowly open it up that way. That might be what I do. It seems like it'd be a lot safer. I don't know. I think it's close though. Stay tuned. Well, the cut wasn't wrong. It just wasn't. It wasn't a one shot and done thing. I did not put it back on the mill and do any more cutting. Instead, I took a couple files to it, extensive filing and fitting, and I ended up taking off the gear off my Bridgeport in order to test fit on here. I also put a socket on the back of it and put it on the wood workbench and banged on it to try and force the aluminum to go where it needed to go, and that helped. It kind of helped swage it to where it needed to be, and then I could tell where it was hitting real hard, and I took files and concentrated on those areas, and like I said, after a lot of filing and fitting, I got it to where it's a snug fit, but not a tight fit. So, not pretty, not as easy as I was expecting. I expected it to just be kind of done, other than some light deburring after getting off the mill. But, well, it is what it is. But seems to be working good, so now I just gotta put this back on, assemble my socket to this, and we'll be done. And it's done. Got the socket inserted. Got set screws going into it to hold it still. I also used green bearing Loctite, and it was a slide fit most of the way, slip fit, but it turned into a press fit at the very end. So socket's not going anywhere inside there. So just put it on the end of your drill. Don't need that anymore. Well, I take it back. I do need it, but and then you can put it in low gear, because otherwise the drill runs down pretty quick. But and it'll go down even faster. There's a little wiggle to it. I don't know where it's at. It's just probably something to do with the square drive on it. And then it's also got a 3/4 socket, so you can, my vise uses 3/4, so sometimes I have it open real wide. I can quickly open and close it. And then if I need to, I can also do the way screws, which I don't have a power feed on my front, so. I got my X locked down. But anyways, I'm happy with it. Fits real good on the knee. Works on the vise and everything else. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.